Molly the Maid at Forepaugh's Mansion, St. Paul, Minnesota. Continuous fright, but through the subtle accumulation of moments that whisper of something more. A house does not need to announce its ghosts with loud wails. Instead, it can invite quiet inquiries, stir curiosity, and leave its visitors wondering what secrets linger in the air. In the storied Forepaugh's Mansion, the echoes of the past resonate with every footfall, every flicker of candlelight, and every whispered conversation. Here, in the heart of St. Paul, Minnesota, the history of the house intertwines with the legend of Molly, the maid whose tragic tale is as haunting as the shadows that drift through its hallways. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine stepping through the heavy wooden doors of the mansion for the first time. The atmosphere wraps around you like a velvet cloak, thick with history and the scent of aged wood and polished brass. The grand foyer stretches upward, adorned with intricate woodwork and heavy drapes that frame the tall windows. The soft murmur of chatter from diners fills the air, but there's something else, something that lingers just beneath the surface. Joseph Librant Forepaugh built this house in the early 1870s, a symbol of success and prosperity, where he and his wife Mary hosted gatherings that showcased their social standing. But as with many grand stories, this one harbors a dark shadow, for it was not merely a home. It became a repository for secrets that would twist through the corridors and ensconce themselves within the very bricks and mortar. As the years passed and the mansion transformed into Forepaugh's restaurant, a new chapter began. Guests arrived not to partake in the domesticity of the Forepaughs, but to experience the ambiance of a place steeped in legend. The walls listened as whispers danced through the halls about Molly, a name etched deep into the fabric of the mansion's lore. She was said to be a young maid in the Forepaugh household, a woman whose life became irrevocably intertwined with the lives of the people she served. According to local tradition, Molly fell into a forbidden romance with Joseph Forepaugh. Theirs was a relationship shrouded in secrecy, but secrets have a way of surfacing in the light. Mary, Joseph's wife, eventually discovered this illicit connection, and the repercussions of that revelation would echo through the years. It's said that Molly, in despair over the unraveling of her world, took her own life, hanging from a chandelier or a fixture in one of the mansion's upper rooms. This tragic ending casts a long shadow over the space, leaving behind a spectral imprint that many have felt over the years. As diners indulged in fine meals and shared warm laughter around candlelit tables, the atmosphere would shift unexpectedly. A sudden chill would seep into the room, a draft where none should exist. Glasses would tremble as if touched by unseen hands, and lights would flicker ominously above, casting moving shadows that seemed alive. Even the most skeptical diners couldn't shake the feeling that the past was watching, listening, and perhaps longing for recognition. It was on those upper floors where the private lives of the Forepaughs unfolded that the essence of Molly seemed to linger the longest. Diners would occasionally catch a glimpse of her, a figure dressed in period clothing, flitting just beyond the edge of their vision. Never long enough to be fully discerned, but always leaving an impression of someone who belonged to another time. The sight of her would make the heart race, a reminder that the past, however distant, is never truly gone. The story of Molly transcends the dates and details of history. It evolves with each telling. The chandelier, once a symbol of celebration, became a harbinger of tragedy, forever tainted by the act of despair that took place beneath it. With every retelling, the image of Molly solidified in the community's collective memory, transforming her from a mere maid into a poignant symbol of lost potential and unfulfilled dreams. But there's more to Molly than just sorrow. She represents the quiet resilience of those who have been overlooked, those whose lives embody struggles that remain hidden behind the facades of wealth and success. While the grand halls of Forepaugh's Mansion were once filled with laughter and life, they also hosted the weight of human anguish and the echoes of a heartbroken young woman. As the restaurant grew in popularity, the stories of Molly multiplied, weaving a rich tapestry of whispered accounts from staff and patrons alike. Footsteps echoed in the silence when the dining room was empty, and the air was thick with the weight of absence. Glasses were said to shift on tables, rearranging themselves as if touched by invisible fingers. Servers would recount how they felt watched, as if a presence lingered just beyond their shoulder, a reminder that they were not alone. Cold spots would emerge unexpectedly, pockets of frigid air that contrasted sharply with the warmth of the bustling restaurant. Guests would shudder involuntarily, their breath visible for just a moment in the chill. And then there was the perfume, a delicate, almost floral scent that would waft through the air without a source, leaving diners glancing around in confusion, searching for the ghost that seemed to brush against their skin. With each new visitor, the stories of Molly grew richer, and the line between the living and the dead blurred ever more. She was not a malevolent spirit. She was a reminder of the humanity that exists within the walls of this grand house. A young woman trapped in a moment of despair, her presence offered a sense of connection to the past, a bond felt through shared experiences of love, loss, and longing. As diners settled into their meals, the mansion itself continued its vigil, holding close the stories of those who had come before. The tension between history and haunting lingered in the air, a palpable reminder that the mansion was more than just a building. It was a living repository of emotion, a vessel for the tales that shaped its soul. And so the legend of Molly persisted, entwined with the very essence of Forepaugh's mansion. It became part of the fabric of St. Paul, a story woven into the lives of its inhabitants, both past and present. Each encounter with the ghostly maid left behind a trace, a haunting reminder that some stories refuse to be buried in the annals of history. Today, if you listen closely, you might still hear her footsteps echoing through the halls of Forepaugh's mansion. You might catch a fleeting glimpse of her in the corner of your eye, or feel the chill of her presence brush past you as you dine in the restaurant below. Molly the maid remains a part of the house, a piece of its history, a guardian of the stories that refuse to fade into silence. In this intersection of the living and the dead, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for someone to acknowledge its presence, to remember that it once lived within these walls. And while Molly's story is one of tragedy, it is also one of connection, weaving the fabric of history into the lives of all who step through the doors of Forepaugh's mansion, a place where the echoes of the past continue to whisper their secrets to those willing to listen. Read the full story at AmericanGhostStories.com.